Some glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away,
got to fly away
to a home on God's celestial shore.
I'll fly away,
fly away,
got to fly away.
Oh,
I'll fly away,
fly away,
got to fly
oh
away.
glory,
I'll fly away,
fly away,
got to fly away.
Greetings to you all. Once more, welcome to Sound Doctrine 7 Studies. Now, if you are watching me, I will advise you always to subscribe, to share the video, and to follow me in the lessons. We are now on Science Discoveries in the Bible Part 3. We did Part 1, we did Part 2. This is the final part. And I hope you follow the lesson and you will enjoy the lesson very well. So it's Science Discoveries in the Bible Part 3. The Bible is the Word of God. And therefore, most of the things that were written in the Bible was written some time back. And it was discovered later on after man started to study more and to make a lot of science discoveries. So let's continue our studies, and then let's go straight to our first point. Now, our very first point we want to look at today is the fundamentals, the foundation of science. Now, if you have been in school, you have been taught that science has some foundations. And those foundations is time, space, matter, motion, and force or other things. These are the foundation of science. You can't do science without time. You can't do science without matter. You can't do science without motion. And we have great scientists who have come out to prove to the world that any scientific experiment or anything they are doing must be based on time, space, matter, motion. And we have Albert Einstein, who proposed the theory of relativity, time and space. We have Sir Isaac Newton. He discovered a whole lot of things. He discovered matter, motion, force, mass times acceleration, inertia. All this was discovered by this great scientist, Sir Isaac Newton. Who Spencer, he talked about the 5 fundamental facts of science, which is time, space, matter, motion, and then force. So all these people talk about these things. But you know something? If what they are saying is true, then the Bible has to confirm it. And as our study shows, what they were saying is true, that you need time to do everything. And because of that, we go back to the Bible and we find out that everything they were teaching is in the Bible. Genesis, which was written about 3,500 years ago, stated that the first 2 verses of the book states that in the beginning, this is time. In the beginning, this is time. And that is exactly what Albert Einstein said. There should be time, okay? And there should be space. Sir Isaac Newton, matter and motion. God created the heavens. This is space. God created the heaven. This is space. And the earth. This is matter. And the earth, this is matter. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was moving, was hovering over the surface of the earth. That is motion. So from your very 5 or 4 facts of science, that holds everything in our universe here, our calculation, everything we do has to go with motion, it has to go with matter, it has to go with time and space. The very first 2 verses of the Bible has proven that if what the scientists are saying is true, then there is evidence in the Bible. So this is your first part of science discovery, part 3 in our studies. Let's go to part 2 of our studies here. On part 2 of our studies, we want to look at what modern scientists are calling quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics. Okay, and under quantum mechanics, we want to look at the atom. Okay, now, one of the greatest discoveries of the 20th century was the atom, and how the atom can release energy, and how they can make atom fusion to cause energy to be released, and through that they were able to make the atomic bomb and other things that you see right now. But before man discovered all these things, the Bible already has said something about this. Now, the question here is, the atom, the smallest part of a substance that cannot be broken down chemically. You see, you can't see atom. You can only study it. You can't see it. Okay, so when you want to study the atom, they will tell you that the atom is made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. And these are all subatomic units. They are all subatomic units of the atom. Okay, so we have the nucleus, you have the neutron, we have the electron, and then this is the nature of the atom. Man has done something. Yes, man has done something. They study it, but they cannot see it. And through it, they were able to make a whole lot of things. Now, in the history of the atom, we will say that the very first person who proposed certain long time ago was a Greek philosopher called Democritus. Okay, so he brought the idea that there is something, if you keep on dividing this and keep on dividing it, you reach a point where you cannot divide it anymore. And he called it, at that point, is atomos, meaning indivisible. Meaning atomos, meaning the thing cannot be divided again. Okay, he said that some time ago, but in modern times, those who brought it to view and went ahead and discovered the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons, there is a group of a lot of people who brought it to view and then discover all these things. So we have here, we have John Dalton. John Dalton was able to discover, or he's the pioneer of the atom. Okay, he was the pioneer of the atom. And then we have Ernest Rutherford. Ernest Rutherford proposed the shape of the atom. Okay, and then we have James Chadwick, 18th, who discovered the neutron in 1932 and won the Nobel Prize in 1935. These are all the people who brought the atom into view. We have J.J. Thomson, who discovered the electron in 1914 also. And then finally, the man who did the experiment, and that was used to develop the atomic bomb, that is Enrico Fermi, 1901 and to 1954. So he drew the experiment, and through his experiment, they were able to use it to develop the atomic bomb. Okay, so all this thing has been done by man. Okay, but the Bible made it very clear that the things that you see this pen, you see this thing I'm holding, all the things you see, the universe you see, they were made from things which are not seen. Okay, they were made from things which are not seen. So here we have Hebrews chapter 11 verse 3. which was written approximately 2,888 years ago. Okay? So before Rutherford, before Enrico Fermi, before the modern group were able to find out that there are some invisible things within our universe, and they are the key, that they are the source of matter, and you cannot see with their eyes. The Bible has already made that statement. It said, by faith, we understand that the word that we see, the word that we are in, were framed by the word of God. And that the things which are seen, these are the things which are seen, the world which you are in, everything that you see, now the universe, the stars, the cars, they were made by things, they were not made by things which are visible. This is something mystery. Okay? God made the things you see from things you cannot what? See. Hebrew writer has already said that. Now, in the 20th and in the 21st century, it's just the time that man has started to discover that truly there are things which we can't see with our eyes, but which are controlling our universe. And that those are the things God used to make the physical things you see. So, how did the Hebrew writer know this 2,000 years back? If he was not writing with the greatest scientist, who is God, the maker of heaven and earth, he was with the Hebrew writer to put down this thing. At this point in history, around 64 AD, when the book of Hebrews was written, that this man was able to say that there are things which have been made, were made from things which are not seen. And later on, man was able now to discover that it is true that we can use atom to make atomic bomb. It's invisible. And even modern scientists are even saying that even there are matter, there is antimatter, that everything you see right now has its opponent which you don't see. This is where science is going right now. But the Hebrew writer has already made it well to prove, to authenticate that the Bible is the word of God. Because this is our mission. Our mission here is to encourage you and not to listen to those who are criticizing the Bible, that it's not the word of God. It is the word of God. And you see, every good thing will get criticism. And because the Bible is good, the people will really criticize it. But if you follow my lessons very carefully, I'm trying to bring to you reality, things that are real, which is in the Bible. So let's continue. So these are the things which are seen, are made from the things which are not seen. Let's go to our next discovery, oceanography. Now, you talk about oceanography, you talk about the ships running on the ocean, the boats running, traveling long distance. The ocean is vast. The ocean forms about 3/4 of the Earth's surface. It's vast. But somebody was able to discover that there are some route paths on the ocean currents, the continental and all these things, so that when you use that route, it makes your distance shorter when you are traveling on the ocean. And that person, his name is called Matthew Mountain Maury. And he took his discovery from Psalm 8 verse 8. When he was reading his Bible, he saw that the Psalm said there is paths in the sea. And he said, if this is true, then I'm going to discover that. And he was in the Navy, okay? And because he has hope in the Bible that whatever God has said is true. So if God is saying there's path in the sea, then it's true that there have to be path in the sea. And you know why? He was able to discover that. And he got the name. He got the name very well. That the Pathfinder of the sea. His nickname was Pathfinder of the seas. Okay, he went afar and discovered and make traveling on the sea to be short, using the shorter route, using the current of the sea, and how ships can pass from place to place in a short period rather than going in the long way. Okay, and he discovered that because in the Bible, Psalm 8 verse 8 states that there is path in the sea. And this is him, 1806 to 1871, 73. And by following the winds, this is what they wrote about him. By following the winds and the current, ships could cross the ocean in fewer days than ever before. He based his discovery on Psalm 8 verse 8. Okay? And they said the birds of the air and the fish of the sea that pass through the paths of the sea. You see, the birds and then the fish, they all know the path of the sea. He discovered that. And this is what he got. He got a very big statue. And a very big statue here. They made a statue of him beside the left foot. He said, Maury, Pathfinder of the sea, when he died. And that is a crown to him. So this is science discovery. These are real stories I'm telling you, which are coming from the Bible. So let's continue our studies. Now let's look at the laws of thermodynamics. In the laws of thermodynamics, let's look at the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Let's put it here. In the first law of thermodynamics, let's put his name. Let's put the man who put the first law. Rudolf Cassius, 1822 to 18 days. You see, that's the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be converted from one form to another. That is the first law of thermodynamics, okay? And this law is in the Bible, as I'm trying to bring your attention to, and to let you understand that we are dealing with the book of God, and God is the greatest scientist. So whatever he makes people to write, you might not understand it at that particular time, but as man keep on to develop and to bring out things, then they keep on to understand why God says some things. So there's law of thermodynamics. Energy can be converted to, for example, if you want to look at the law, you have electrical energy. You can convert electrical energy to heat energy, like using your electric iron to iron your clothes. You are converting electrical energy to heat energy. Or you can use heat energy by buying gas into your car. Your car starts burning heat, and then it starts rotating the tires, and your car starts moving. Heat energy is converted into motion in your car. Okay, so the total energy that God created is constant. That means you can't change it. But you can move one energy from one form to another. And he came to discover that. Okay? But let's look at what King Solomon said about this law. Let's go back here and see. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 14 to verse 15. Let's look at what he said about the law of first thermodynamics. He said, I know that whatever God does, it shall be forever. He knows that whatever God does, it shall be forever. Nothing can be added and nothing can be taken from it. What does the law of thermodynamics? He said the total amount of energy remains constant. You can move it from one to another, but it's constant. So you can't add, you see, nothing can be added and nothing can be taken. That means it's constant. constant. The total amount of energy in the universe is constant. You can move it from one form to another. And that is what Christianus, he said God does it that way. He said God made it that way, that men should fear before him. He made it that way, that which has already been, and what is to have already been, and God require an account of it in the past. So the first law of thermodynamics is in the Bible, that whatever God does, you can't add or take away, but you can move it from one form to another. I hope you are enjoying scientific discoveries in the Bible, part 3, that the total amount of energy remains what? Constant. Let's go here with this man who brought the first law of thermodynamics. Let's go to our next scientific discovery. Now we are now in geology. Okay, in geology, we know the Earth which we are standing on. Okay, first of all, we have this lady, Igni Lehmann. In 1888 to 1993, he made a very big discovery. He discovered that inside, as you go deep in the Earth, you start meeting heat. You go deep, it becomes hard until you reach the center of the Earth, which is a core. It's the scientific people call it molten magma, which is in the form of heat. And that you see, when you see volcano, whenever you observe volcano always come out from the earth in a fire form. Yes, all this was discovered by her, Igni Lehmann, in 18 verse 44, that inside the earth is very hot. But before she discovered that, the Bible has already said about that. And that's what we are trying to bring your attention. That don't let people deceive you about the word of God. When you follow it, you understand a whole lot of things. Now let's look at here. Let's look at what Job said about the discovery of this man. This is about thousands of years back. Okay, about maybe 3,000 years before her. Job chapter 28 verse 5. He said, as for the earth, and from it comes bread. Yes, on the earth, if you plant wheat, you can make bread. You can make corn from bread. You can make food from the earth. But look at, but underneath is turned up as what? Fire. But beneath the earth is fire. How should Job know about this? 3,000 years before she came, in just about less than 200 years to discover this. How did it happen? If Job was not writing by inspiration, Job was writing by inspiration, and God is with him, okay? And God is a greater sign. He knows everything. He created the visible and the invisible. He created what you can see and what you cannot see. He created the atom. Okay? He created the rays. He created dark matter. And even you don't know where we can even talk about. But because of that, Job at 3,000 years knows that beneath the earth there is fire. But this was discovered later on in this year. And that proves the scientific knowledge of the Bible. Let's go to our next proof. Now, let's go to astronomy. Astronomy. Now, we know right now, you have heard about Hubble. Hubble telescope was one of the magnificent inventions in the 20th century to look up the skies. And the NASA company and other company have advanced upon that. Okay? Now, before he came, there was a confusion whether the universe was static or whether the universe was expanding. Okay? There was that confusion among the astronomers. But when he discovered that telescope, Edwin Hubble proved the universe is expanding using the largest telescope at the time, known as the Hubble telescope. He found out that the universe was expanding. Okay? And it's true, the universe is expanding. You can't imagine the power of God. But before he discovered that, the Bible has already made it very clear that God is stretching out the universe. He's stretching it out. Okay, so if he's stretching it out, then it means it is expanding. In Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 15, he has made the earth by his power. He has established the world by his wisdom, and he stretched out the heaven by his understanding. He's stretching out the heavens. He's stretching out. So Hubble, with his telescope, saw that the universe is expanding. He's stretching it out, and it's in the Bible thousands of years back before he was able to discover that with the telescope that the universe is expanding. The same thing applies to Isaiah chapter 40 verse 22, that it is he who sits upon the circle of the earth, and he said he stretched out the heavens like a curtain and spread them out like a tent to dwell in. So God is stretching out the universe. And that is why when you look at your telescope, the scientific data, their discovery, see that the universe was expanding. This knowledge is huge. But before Hubble, with his telescope, was able to discover that, the Bible has already discovered that. Let's look at our next discovery. In our next discovery, we said the stars cannot be counted. Okay? The stars cannot be counted. Now, the modern telescope proved that the stars cannot be what? Counted. Okay? The stars are enormous. The universe is huge. You can't understand the universe. What you see is the Milky Way galaxy. We have the Andromeda galaxy. We have millions and millions of galaxies with millions and millions of stars, billions of stars. And now even the scientists are telling us that there must be a parallel universe, which they are still working on it. And God told us in the book of Genesis, okay, he told Abraham that you can't count the stars. So before even our modern times, that with our telescope, what we are seeing is showing that we cannot count the stars. God already made it known some thousands of years back to our great-great-grandfather Abraham, that then he brought in Genesis chapter 15, verse 5. He said he brought him outside and said, look now towards heaven and count the stars if you are able to number them. Look now out. You can't. You can't count the stars. There are those you cannot even see with your eyes. The Bible has made it very plain. So our studies is trying to help you to understand that you cannot count the stars, and that the Bible is the word of God, as we try to prove to you from the Bible the word of what? Of God. Now, Evangelista Teresilie, okay, this scientist, 1608, okay, he made the first barometer and discovered that air has weight. Okay, the air you breathe in. And they didn't know that those air you breathe in was having weight. Okay, but with him, he was a student of Galileo Galilei. And then he was able to make the first barometer and discover that air has weight. Okay, now before he was able to do that, the Bible has already said that air has what? weight. So when you follow the Bible, you will learn a whole lot of things. Let's look at Job. Job chapter 38. It is he who determines its measurement. Surely you know. Or who stretched out the air upon what? Upon it. Okay? And then he made the air to have what? Weight. Okay? And the Bible teaches us that way. And the Bible tells us a whole lot of what? A whole lot of things. And as I brought to you this morning, this is our part 3. We hope you read the part 1, part 2, and part 3. It's full of knowledge. It's full of ideas. It's full of Bible quotations proving scientific discoveries in the Bible. And I hope you have enjoyed these lessons very well, and you will continue to study with us. More lessons are coming, and we'll bring you a whole lot of other lessons that pertain to salvation for your soul and for heaven. Now, you can always go to Sound Doctrine 7 Studies. On your YouTube, you type in Sound Doctrine 7 Studies, you press on the logo, you press on videos, you see the videos, you can watch them, you can share our videos, and then you subscribe and give comment. When you watch the video, you give comment, and that encourages the maker to make more videos of such to you. Or you send an email, or you can go to WhatsApp, international WhatsApp. You call this number. The US number is +1 before you dial your number, and then you can dial your number. Or you can go to Facebook also and use the same Sound Doctrine 7 Studies. Hey, my brothers and my sisters, this is Sound Doctrine 7 Studies. We brought to you scientific discovery, part 1, part 2, part 3. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson very well. May God bless you, and may God give you knowledge and understanding. And let us all believe that the Bible is the word of God. And those who are fighting against it, they are fighting against it because it's the truth. Anything that is true, people will fight against it. And that is the Bible. And do not let them deceive you. Just follow our 3 videos, and then you will understand the Bible is the word of God. May God bless you. You see us next in our next video. Bye-bye. I hope you have enjoyed it very well. Subscribe and share and give comment. Thank you.
A friend in Jesus is everything to me. He is the fairest of 10,000s to my soul. The leader of the valley, in him alone I see all I need to cleanse and make me fully whole.